Hello friends, welcome back to Raju Notes channel. Let's quickly do the update for the month of April. This is the first part and the second part will be somewhere on the month end. And I received a very good input from one of the subscribers of my channel that he jots down a few important points and the topics whenever he listens to these updates, and probably that is how he's maintaining a small diary which can help him to attempt the current affairs examination very well. I thought it's a real good idea, and that's the reason I am sharing the same with you. Maybe you can just think over it. In this update, we will quickly look after up to about 30 to 40 updates which have happened and which are worth noting down for your current affairs. The first one is the National Thermal Power Corporation, that is the NTPC. It has set India's largest floating solar plant in a state of Telangana, which will have a capacity of 100 megawatts, and this will be operational by the May this year. And this has been established in a NTPC thermal power plant, which is at Ramagundam, and this will have a total of 4.5 lakh photovoltaic cells, and it is this is a project which has costed about 423 crores. India has made into the Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest road construction. It's a rare feat. About 2 years back, China used to beat us hands down on this particular subject, but now India has taken the front seat. And the record was achieved by building a 2.5 kilometer 4-lane concrete road within 24 hours and 1 lane of 25 kilometers bitumen from Solapur Bijapur road within 24 hours. So this is a great feat. India should keep up with this work, and they should construct more and more road towards the border with China so that the faster mobilization is possible. Amid growing tensions between the Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine has announced that it will carry out military drills along with NATO. Ukraine had to take this step to show down the Russian threat which was going around on its border area. So as of now, that area is particularly hot as we speak. Very, very bad news and sad news for the India, and it's probably a black mark on us that there were about 22 of the security personnel were ambushed and killed in Chhattisgarh versus Bijapur, which was this ambush was led by about some 400 Naxals, and they rained fire with machine guns, IEDs, and lots of ammunition and weapon have been taken away by them. A problem of Naxals is an internal threat. There might be a question as to we are able to deal and achieve so much with the external terrorists that is coming into J&K and borders of Punjab, but why are we not able to deal with the Naxal problem, which is very much within the heart of India? So this will or might form a very good question in case it is. So just be at it and to think of the reasons as to why we are unable to tackle this problem. And should army be called into this? That is the question to be asked. Okay, NASA's last time we have discussed that NASA's Ingenuity had landed onto the Mars, and it had. We were discussing that it will deploy a helicopter. Well, the helicopter has been deployed, and it was after deployment. It checked its motors, sensors, and it checked its solar powers, and it was checking its power. And it is expected to start its first flight over the Mars and collect the various data. So in a day or so. Amidst the growing pressure from the FATF on the Financial Action Task Force on Pakistan, Pakistan is doing some cosmetic things. He is presently jailed Hafiz Saeed and 4 of his aides in a terror financing case. This Hafiz Saeed, was mastermind of the 2008 Mumbai attacks and also the chief of Jamaat-ud-Dawa. And as of now, the court has sentenced him to 9 years of imprisonment. But such cases did happen. The moment FATF gives out or puts it back into grey list, and they are back again scot-free. So, but just a point to note the kind of pressure under which the Pakistan is presently reeling. The DRDO has developed a advanced shaft technology. This is a technology wherein the shafts are deployed in the air. These shafts basically give out a false echo area for the incoming missiles, and thus deceiving the missiles which are fired towards the naval ships. So this technology has been used worldwide, but we have only seen this more and more for the aircrafts, but less for the ships and the other naval assets. So the DRDO has developed such a thing for the naval assets, and it has been tested and it has found to be very successful. The Hyderabad-based IIT Hyderabad have developed a dual carbon alternative to the conventional lithium-ion batteries. Presently, we use lithium and ion, and there is a transfer of these ions, which is resulting into the flow of electricity. The IIT Hyderabad researchers have developed a new one, wherein a dual carbon electrodes are kept, and by using carbon fiber mats in this, a 5-volt battery has been made, and it is self-standing. Well, this will not only cut down the toxic and heavy transitional methods of lithium and ion, etc., in a battery, but also will cut down the overall battery cost by around 20 to 25% with a good power backup. Again, yet a moment of pride for India. The railway line which was which is being built over the Chenab River in JNK, which was held up because of a bridge between two big mountains, and that bridge which is about 359 meters above this riverbed, has been built. The arch, basically the arch over the bridge, has been successfully built, and once this arch has been built, now a line will be laid over this arch. So the Railway Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, in a tweet had said that this arch over the Chenab Bridge connecting Kashmir to Kanyakumari has been completed, and this is an arch which spans about 467 meters, and it is the world's highest railway bridge. So yet and again a feather in the cap of India, that even in the railways we are the world's highest bridge made. I think it is 35 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Well, the NASA's 1.8 kg helicopter, which we had just spoken about, it took off from the Perseverance rover, and it made its first flight, and it survived the cold temperatures of the Mars, and the power and everything was doing on well, and it started clicking some photographs and sending some data back to the Earth and also to the Perseverance. The temperatures on the Mars can go as less than about minus 90 degrees centigrade also. Well, Justice N.V. Ramana has been appointed as the next Chief Justice of India, and this was approved by President Ramnath Kovind, and the recommendation was made by the present CJI, Mr. Sharad Arvind Bobde, and the 47th Chief Justice of India, that is Mr. Bobde, will retire on April 23rd. So this is for your info. As part of the Sagar, please remember this, Sagar is not to be confused with the ocean. It is an acronym which stands for Security and Growth for All in the Region. Security and growth for all in the region. Well, this is PM Modi at the International Fleet Review in Visakhapatnam had launched this mission Sagar to assess the island nations in the Eastern Indian Ocean. So as part of that Sagar, India has handed over a patrol vessel which worth about 100 crores to Seychelles, and this was handed over by Modi via virtual summit, and Modi has added that India and Seychelles share a strong vital partnership in the Indian Ocean region. Well, this is essential for you to check the string of pearls policy of the Chinese. Well, talking about China, US has blacklisted more and more Chinese companies, now with Chinese companies having links to its military, and the Chinese supercomputing entities are almost everywhere in US, and they were involved in some kind of a data transfer. So China has been put under pressure now in terms of soft pressure. Now Chinese companies are being banned by US slowly but yes steadily. Initially only India was the one, when people looked out India and thinking, how can one small nation or a nation can affect a country with its soft power. Well, this is an example of it. Earlier, the US had boycotted its telecom company Huawei and SMIC, as far as we know. Well, again, coming on to very favorite topic of mine, this we have been covering from last about 6 months, how technology is evolving. I spoke of Elon Musk's Neuralink chip, which initially about 6 months back I said he's planning something, then it became a reality, then he insisted it onto it, and now a successful test has been done wherein the Neuralink chip was inserted into a monkey's brain, and we could and there is a video on YouTube, you can sometimes see it, wherein the monkey was initially made to play a game using a joystick, and thereafter in the second part of the series the joystick was taken off and the monkey was playing that game only by its thoughts. So this is what I was talking of, the Neuralink chip. This will be a game changer. Somehow I am obsessed with this, and this Neuralink chip one should be looking forward to in future, and just think as to how can this be utilized for the armed forces or for a nation's build up. A shocking thing which came off was that in US Navy held an operation inside the India's exclusive economic zone, that is EEZ, without the Indian consent. And it just shot off a very casual note that today we held a operation inside India, and it was a routine thing, and we have been doing that in past and we'll continue to do in future. And this took a lot of criticism from India within and outside, and thereafter I think US had to tender an apology and an explanation that it was a wrong thing. We'll just cover it later in case it comes up. Another good news coming is that Indian sailor Vishnu Saravanan and the pair of Varun Thakkar and KC Ganapati have qualified for Tokyo Olympics in laser standard class, the 49ER event respectively. And I think these are two army men, if I'm not wrong, maybe, but I somewhere studied that these are the two army men who have represented, and it is a very great news for India because India has for the first time also qualified for Olympics in such an event, which is good for us, and the sports minister had congratulated for this event. China and Bhutan recently held the 10th expert group meeting on the boundary issues in China's Yunnan province. The meeting discussed the roadmap for speeding up the China-Bhutan border negotiation. And a joint statement was issued by two countries, and they promised to hold the 25th round of China-Bhutan boundary talks as soon as possible at mutual convenient dates. But point to remember, China is keen to settle all its border disputes with other countries except for India and the select ones. And here he's now trying into Wu in Bhutan, which has almost been a neutral player and doesn't succumb to such things. Nepal he has already influenced. Sri Lanka is already influenced. Burma is already influenced. So let's see how this talks will go ahead. Just now we discussed about this passage of the US Navy holding operations inside the EEZ without the consent. Then India has responded saying that on UN Convention of Law of Sea, it doesn't authorize even US to carry out such military exercise, and India is concerned, conveyed its concern to the government. Now, point to note here is that we are no more that nation wherein you'll just keep quiet just because the superpower is, though he's your friend, but he can just trespass your own EEZ and you just keep quiet. No, it is not that. You have been representing, and this is how a country should be. As long as you don't represent, nobody will probably give you the value. When a Supreme Court has in one of the cases have observed that a decision has been given that no protest should be allowed or can be allowed wherein you have the rights to block the traffic. Well, this came out when while hearing a plea of the Noida woman who complained that the longer travel times to Delhi due to the blockades which are happening because of the Kisan Andolan and the erstwhile CAA protests which were happening at Shaheen Bagh. So let's see how much more it can be implemented. Well, Pakistan's National Assembly has passed a bill that says that they can jail Pakistanis for mocking their army. Well, I have purposefully put this point here because, see, a nation like Pakistan, which is already ruled by almost ruled by the army, and if they start talking something bad against army, they can be jailed. But whereas in India, yeah, it is somehow a very sad tragedy that whoever wants to become international internet success or viral, all he has to do is tell something very bad about army, and he gets a lot of media coverage. We also, I think, should get something like this. And I somehow agree with this part that one organization which is for your country, you can't mock that for your personal gains. Well, a great achievement in the medical field. Woman in Japan has become the world's first COVID-19 patient to receive a living donor's lung transplant. Rather, she has received a lung segment from her son and husband both after her lungs failed because of the damage caused by the coronavirus. So this operation took about 11 hours to perform, and doctors saying that the patient is now stable. So it's a very, very, very great thing to happen, and maybe a life changer in the days to come. The government of India has relaxed or released a draft amendment to the right of consumers rules, which allows the rooftop solar installations with a capacity up to 500 kilowatt to be built under net metering. As a result, those of the rooftop solar panels will receive higher tariffs from the power distribution companies for surplus power, which you sell back to them after you consume to your own home. So this is an encouragement for people to use this rooftop panels, and also to use the renewable energy sources. Well, as I was talking, as a face-saving measure, U.S. did not tender an apology, but he has given a very subtle statement saying that it was an innocent passage that U.S. Navy operated in the EEZ without the Indian consent. He says, well, that is also enough for us, because they have acknowledged the fact that India has represented this and it was not acceptable to us. So, okay, even if they say that it's an innocent passage, it is fine. But because remember, the first time they just were thumping on their chest and saying that we did a trespassing and in the Indian Ocean region in that, and nothing happened. Now they're saying it is an innocent passage. But overall, a good strategic win for India. A laughing matter, as says goes, that anything made in China can't be 100% successful. China has finally admitted that the coronavirus vaccine is very low as far as the effectiveness is concerned. This is coming from their own mouth, wherein they were trying to become the competitor for India's vaccines worldwide. But now, because of their ratio, initially many countries have returned their coronavirus vaccine, and even India has been saying that their vaccine is best. Now, it coming from their horse's mouth, China admits that their vaccine is low in the efficiency. But this doesn't deter China. China is constantly threatening the Taiwan, and in a very largest incursion, Chinese 25 aircrafts entered the Taiwanese air zone. There was a large tension which had built up in this 15 days, and the air defense of the Taiwanese were on high alert, and somehow no shots were fired, and I think that was the reason that everything today is cool. Had there been a single shot fired, then it would have got US into the picture and also China into the picture, and there would have certainly been something very big. So, but the point to note, this China and Taiwan are now on loggerheads, and it is how a smaller nation like Taiwan is taking on the big bully. Post the Pathankot airbase attacks, the Indian Air Force have inducted a specialist vehicle that can stand bullets and maybe even a grenade attacks to tackle the terrorist attacks inside their air bases. Well, this is the photographs, if you can see in this clip. It is made by Ashok Leyland, and it is heavily armored from all armored plating from all four sides, and they are being given to the Air Force, maybe to tackle any future such attacks. A part of China's policy of making you their slaves, China has generously extended about $500 million loan to Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka has no choice but to take it, whatever it might be. I can be so much critical of China, but China is also making us pay through our noses. Please understand, because China has got so much of money, he is able to woo the countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, and whatever it is. So we are actually spending more from our pocket to keep them onto other side. So I will say that this policy of China has been successful. That is, he is making us bleed our money to keep the smaller nations in good humor. The government has launched an e-commerce platform which is called as eSanta for the aqua farming, that is basically the fish farming. The Ministry for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Piyush Goyal, said that this will enable the aqua farmers to get a better price and the exporters to directly purchase their quality product. And this will be an e-commerce platform. And eSanta, Santa in Telugu means a place, a market. So probably I couldn't get the Santa's full form as of now, but I'm sure there must be an acronym for the eSanta. Mr. Sushil Chandra has assumed the charge of the new Chief Election Commissioner on Tuesday. He was appointed as the CEC on Monday after Mr. Sunil Arora demitted the office. Chandra will take over the office on May 14th, and under him the elections will be held in Goa, Manipur, Uttarakhand, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. Well, we all knew that post the tsunami, there was radiation leak of the Japanese nuclear stations, and the water of that place was radioactive. Finally, Japan, after a lot of efforts, has now released over 10 lakh tons of the treated radio water from the destroyed Fukushima nuclear station into the sea. They have tried removing many of the isotopes, leaving only the tritium radio isotope of hydrogen, which is hard to separate from water. So probably when they are leaving it, it will dilute the water, get diluted in the water level, and slowly maybe it will be safe. And probably that is the only thing which Japan could do for that toxic waste which they had. A very strong, important message coming from US President Biden to withdraw all its troops from Afghanistan by September 11. Well, Biden says that the four presidents before him kept on talking of this withdrawal, but now he says he will not hand it over to the next president, and he would want to do it. Well, this can be a very important topic as to if the US withdraws completely from Afghanistan, then the question of Taliban and the government, democratic government in Afghanistan, will again be at loggerheads. What will be the outcome? The investments made by the India in terms of soft investments, will it make any effort? Will it make any headway? Because once there is a turmoil in Afghanistan, all the years' good work will go for a six. So let's see how this thing turns out. But as of now, the Biden administration seems very confident that they will pull back all of their troops by September 11th. In Office of the Director of National Intelligence and its report to the US Congress, this report says that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is more likely than in past to respond with any kind of military force to Pakistani provocations. Well, now this should give out feelers to Pakistan. And unlike the previous times when we used to believe in Kadi Ninda, I think now that stage is gone. Pakistan should get it very loud and clear that it is no more Kadi Ninda and it will be a Kadi action. So this is good if it is coming from US. Well, we just discussed the move of US troops from Afghanistan. Now China says that US should not withdraw from Afghanistan, and as the terrorists will take advantage. Now please understand the role of China in Afghanistan. Suppose if Afghanistan has been, the moment Afghanistan is free, the Pakistan will 100% get involved with Afghanistan, whatever it may, because half of the sanctuaries of militants are there and they will get involved, and it will become an unstable country. China has already invested a lot into Pakistan. The Pakistan will then have a lot of things going on. Their Belt and Road project, their CPEC project will be deeply affected. So China now wants that US should not withdraw, first of all, and if they have to withdraw, they should withdraw in a very saved manner. Very fashioned manner. Well, whatever it might say, but it will be a game changer in this specific region, for sure. Finally, if you recollect, in last two updates, I was being telling as to how and not how, but why did India and Pakistan suddenly take a softer stance, and there were meetings backdoor, and there were suddenly the ceasefire agreement, and there was the bilateral talks going on at the diplomatic level. As to, I was wondering, I really didn't know about the reasons, but finally the news is out that the United Arab Emirates was the reason why there has been a start in the diplomatic talks between the two countries and the ceasefire happening. Probably UAE must have mediated, and the backdoor channels must have worked, and that's the reason it is happening. But even UAE says that they can't get both countries to a level of functioning together, but at least he says that they are successful in getting them to talk. And I think yes, UAE has been successful. Reasons we don't know, where how could he twist our arm or the Pakistani arm, we don't know, but that will also be very shortly known. But you should know that UAE has something to do with the India-Pak relations. Science and technology point, the scientists at the Purdue University have developed a whitest ever paint possible, and this paint is capable of reducing the temperatures and reflecting the temperatures back, and it reflects almost 98% of the sunlight. Well, if this is there, then there will be no need of you to paint. Probably the consumption of ACs will come down, the carbon prints will come down, the electricity will be saved because the light will be reflected. It says that the surfaces, it can keep the surfaces cool by around 4.5 degrees below the ambient temperature, even in the strongest sunlight possible. And it is said that this paint will be out in market for in a span of a year or two. India, France have signed on to an agreement of cooperation over the forthcoming Gaganyaan mission. The French space agency, which is called as CNES, it has supported us, and it has said that it will help us in prepare the Gaganyaan space mission, and it serves as its single European contract in this domain. Well, under this agreement, Indian astronauts can use the French equipment, its consumables, medical instruments, and such things for the Gaganyaan mission. Well, it's a good thing. Here, India should keep doing it, and Gaganyaan is a very major thing which is going to happen in the real time soon. Finally, the UK Home Secretary, Mr. Priti Patel, cleared fugitive billionaire Nirav Modi's extradition to India. Earlier, UK court had ordered that extradition of this person was wanted for the 14,000 crore PNB scam. And there was a petition filed by the Modi, so Nirav Modi's side, saying that the Arthur Road jail is not fit for him, there is a risk of suicide for him, and so on and so forth. Well, after all such things taken off, now I think he will be repatriated to the India very soon, or extradited to the India very soon. Well, that's all, friends. I had covered about 30 to 40 updates in this quick span of about 30 minutes. Hope you like it. If you like it, please subscribe, and do tell your friends, and just click that like button. I will like it. Thank you so much, and have a great day.